Hi, Abdinasir. My name is Daphne. I'm one of the essay correctors here at IeltsPodcast.com. Thank you for sending in your essay for correction. Really good to hear from you. Great idea to get some feedback before you do your exam. I'd love to know if you've done IELTS before. That'd be very interesting. And I note that you are taking it in March. Okay. So let's just get into this essay. Let's look at the title first. International marketing is sometimes seen as invasive and an intrusion into the country in question. Others argue it's a necessary form of education. Okay, so we need to really understand this idea of international marketing. And we are talking about advertising here and not about trade. This is a mistake that most of our students make who write this essay. It's very easy to start writing about trade. In this essay, we really want to be writing specifically about advertising. And linking this to products, for example, or companies such as Apple or McDonald's or Nike, who have an enormous presence overseas, have a big influence on other countries, and as well as selling shoes or computers, they're also selling a culture and a lifestyle. And that's what we want to be discussing. Is that culture and lifestyle here? Is this a good thing or is this not a good thing? Your essay is a little bit too oriented around trade, which would affect the mark that you would score for task achievement. Please don't worry, many people, as I say, make this mistake. The online course that we do, we particularly address this issue of understanding the question and responding to the right question. Okay, so here we go. International marketing can sometimes be seen as intrusion and a threat to domestic, or don't use some punctuation like that, or local industries of a country, because it may threaten and possess competition to local markets. Okay, let's just get into this sentence. International marketing can sometimes be seen an intrusion. You'd have to say as an intrusion. Now, you can't use the words that the examiner uses in the question. You need to paraphrase. Paraphrase means you need to show the examiner you understand the question, but not using the same words as they use. Okay? So you could say global advertising or global marketing and advertising can sometimes be seen as unwelcome and a threat, okay, to domestic or local industries of a country, because it may threaten. These modal verbs are really important to suggest an idea and offer too much competition, I think we want to say. You can't possess competition, but you can offer competition, present competition to local markets. In this area of globalization, where the movement of goods, watch out for articles here, the movement of goods and services across the globe takes a short time, or such a short time. Opponents of globalization, especially mercantilists, okay, yeah, argue that the importation of goods threatens exports, hence making the country vulnerable for exploitation by foreign multinational corporations. Whoa, okay, you are getting, this is an introduction, okay, I just want a general statement, I want your opinion, okay, and then I want you to introduce your essay. In the introduction, I do not want you to get into detailed arguments, especially because here you've gone off topic immediately, because you're talking to me about trade and you're talking to me about globalization. Globalization's okay, but in the context of advertising, okay, so be careful here. Intro, I want the opinion, a general statement to show you understand this, your opinion, and then I want this essay. We'll discuss key issues using examples, and so on. Okay? So that's very important that you structure your introduction right. Again, this is something which we look at on the course, and we go very carefully through how to write coherent paragraphs, exactly how these essays should be organized. So here you need to be telling me, okay, so you're starting your main paragraph. Skepticism against movement of goods and services across countries is strengthened by the rise of populist leaders who won elections in their countries. For example, in the UK, by Boris Johnson and others who spearhead protectionism policies to safeguard local markets against exploitation from international trade. Okay, full stop here. Okay, so I've got quite a few issues with this. Okay, number one, do not start talking about politics in an IELTS essay. Okay, it is a very bad idea because this is really about general knowledge. This does not have to be specific knowledge about politics. Also, you're making quite big statements. Okay, protectionist policies, it will be protectionist policies. Exploitation for international trade. You've got some very quite bold language in here. I love the high level of your language, but in this essay, you cannot prove the policies are protectionist, and you cannot prove that he is trying to safeguard local markets against exploitation. Okay, just politics, don't go there. You're much safer sticking on a topic, number one, and also which means like talking about Apple, the influence Apple has. Yes, they're selling me a computer, but also actually they're selling me an American way of life maybe as well. Okay, also maybe Starbucks. They're selling me American coffee, American lifestyle of food, and that's unhealthy. And I like my local coffee shop, which nowadays needs to be protected. It's gone out of business. Okay, so on the other hand, your paragraph here you should make a point. Okay, develop the point, then give me an example. I would not change direction in the middle of a paragraph. You'll change your direction here. On the other hand, countries with aging populations may suffer conservatism bias towards international markets. Okay, that's interesting. Senior citizens consider any influx of goods into their local country market, particularly those goods from China, so in commas here, those goods from China, as a weakening the country's sovereignty. Hence, this leads them to consider voting for a populist leader who would adopt tougher measures against international marketing. Okay. All right, so you've written a nice paragraph here. There are a few issues on grammar. I'm very impressed with your language, but the big issues I have, okay, this is the most relevant for IELTS. The paragraph is not organized like an IELTS paragraph should be in terms of present the sentence, topic sentence, development, example, conclude your example. Okay, you need to have very clear, precise, concise paragraphs, and that is something that we work on the course. That is something that I suggest that you have a look at. On the other hand, again, so you've got on the other hand here, okay, and then on the other hand again, which is quite confusing for the reader, your signposting needs to be very clear. Proponents of international trade, and we're not talking about trade. You see what's happening here? You've now gone completely off topic. Argue that brings a change to the local country by introducing competition, which initiates the local industry to innovate. That's a nice idea. Yep. Okay, that is a good idea. But start off, so this is on topic here. Start off this point by talking about, link it back to advertising. So it brings a change. So advertising campaigns seen on TV, on computers, whatever, of billboards, bring changes by introducing competition through new products and competition, new products. And we're linking it back to the title. Keep on title. New ideas, okay, which initiate the local industry. Yeah, so here you can bring that back to get it back onto the topic. Okay, rather than initiate, or initiate and encourages local industry. Okay, so that's a nice point. Well done. That works with the topic. By considering the importance of international market to a host country that adopt favourable policies towards international trade, is that now here you're giving me a kind of like what you think about international trade, which again you've got to stay on point again. So develop this idea. So here, for example, yeah. Nike shoes, and then a local company used the idea of Nike shoes, and now they're very successful selling their own brand based on Nike shoes, whatever. But give me a lovely example here. Develop this whole paragraph. Don't change into a new paragraph now. By considering the importance of international market to a host country that adopts favourable policies towards international trade, is that the country could benefit. So be careful here. Could, might, may benefit. You can't prove it in this essay, so you need to use these modal verbs. Very, very important. Benefit enormously, you'd have to have by collecting taxes for foreign companies who operate within the country, and this would generate revenue for the country, which would again enable them to provide jobs for the citizens and other basic services. International market can bring expert ideas from economists which help the economy to grow. Okay, so very interesting and nice language, super good vocabulary here, but it's not on task. So strictly marking an Ielts essay, my big problem here is that task achievement, you're not answering the question which you have been set, and also the coherence, the organisation of the paragraphs is quite hard for me to get through the points you're trying to make in terms of how this should be organised in a very clear way. On the course, you have time to do this course. It's 14 days. If you're super quick, most people take about a month to do it, but you can go really fast if you want to. We talk you through, there's 18 little 10-minute videos talking you through exactly how to structure these essays. We have a lot of success with our students, even very, very good students who need to raise their band a little bit. We really get a lot of corrections like this, targeted for their own mistakes, and I think they find they improve very quickly. In a world where globalization is taking hold, really, with increased speed, international trade will be experienced in every country that is not a closed or structured economy, maybe. Therefore, globalization aids movement of goods and services across modern state borders needs to be welcomed, and the impact of which is mainly international trade to be given priority. Okay, in my view, good opinion down here. International markets can contribute to the improvement of common of everyday standard of living, maybe through trade, and should be encouraged. Okay, so I hope you see the points I'm trying to make here. So as far as your task achievement, there's some issues definitely there to be addressed. Coherence and cohesion, that's the organisation and flow, also some issues to be addressed. Grammar looks very nice, apart from I will use more modal verbs, and well done on your vocabulary, because your vocabulary is fabulous. So please keep in touch. I'll be very happy to offer you a discount on the course today, and 2 free essay corrections. So in total you would have 10 corrections, and it would be great to work with you on your IELTS preparation. Thank you.